Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Hero's Journey Project. We are on episode number 26. I'm Nick, your wonderful host, and let's get to some comics, see what's going on here. All right, first up, we have Wow Comics number 21. That's from Fawcett, January 1944. In this issue, Mary Marvel takes some kids camping in the woods and finds out that a legend about a smoke demon that takes children and wants to rule the world is in actuality a true story, as the smoke demon comes to life and does steal one of the kids. This is a fun cover. You got Pinky and Mr. Scarlet on there, and Miss Marvel, Mary Marvel zipping through a couple of hoops there. Very exciting. Fun cover, why not? You have a recent CGC 5.0 sale from December of 2019 for $157. Now that was the end of January 1944. We're now into comics from February 1944. And starting us off is Action Comics number 69. Is from DC, February 1944. Got the prankster on the cover there, Superman. And Superman uncovers a scheme by the prankster to blackmail wealthy individuals by returning seemingly worthless items in exchange for large sums of money. So he's blackmailing them, but doesn't seem like blackmailing because they're buying items back, essentially, that, seem worthless. And then Zatara investigates when some foreign magicians use Eastern magic to rob people and then try to leave the country with their ill-gotten gains. I like the prankster. He's a fun guy. Why not? You have a recent CGC 6.5 sale from November of 2020 for $660. Prankster story, kind of fun. You got like a villain in there that, like I said, I've always said that Batman had a better rogues gallery, but this guy actually seems to be one of the golden age villains that was a little more fun to read about. Following that, we have Adventure Comics number 90. It's from DC. It's a February-March 1944 issue. I'm not thrilled about the cover. It's just kind of boring. The art doesn't speak to me. What are you going to do? So I was reading two stories in this issue. Sandman and Sandy are caught napping when a photographer uses a camera that releases an odorless sleeping gas. Fun. Starman travels to the land beneath the fog where time is stuck in the Middle Ages, and he must rescue a woman from being burned as a witch. Crazy stuff. For this issue, you had a recent CGC sale from March of 2020 for $630. Coming up next is Batman number 21. This is from DC, of course, the February-March 1944 issue. On the cover, Batman and Robin whoop it up in 4 whirlwind action stories. That's fun. Anyway, in the first story, Batman and Robin take down some cattle rustlers, which I guess goes to the cover. That's a fun cover. Nice cover, bright red. Looks good. In the next one, Batman and Robin have their hands full when gangsters hire military strategists to help them pull off jobs. Seemed like a really good idea. Why not? You need some jobs done. You hire a military strategist to give you the insight on how to do it. Batman and Robin save Alfred from danger when he poses as a double for an eccentric recluse and find a deeper mystery. So now this is the new Alfred, all skinny and trim with his tiny little mustache there. Looking good. Finally, Batman and Robin thwart the Penguin's plan to loot the richest people in the country. So Penguin got bored, saw a paper with some rich people, and tried to rob them. Didn't really work out as Batman and Robin caught on to what was going on. So this is a fun issue. You have Batman and Robin, of course, 4 stories. Alfred's in there, but you also have Penguin, which is one of Batman's main villains. So you have a recent CGC sale from November of 2020 for $2,760. And this wasn't actually the big book of the week, surprisingly enough. After that, we have Blue Beetle number 30. This is from Hollyoak, February 1944. Blue Beetle investigates a series of kidnappings in Chicago carried out by Spider Joe and a Nazi. Okay, so that was the only Blue Beetle story in the issue. And that is the last Hollyoak issue For issue number 31, it will return to Fox, and it will be a good chunk further down the year in 1944. So second half of 1944 is when we'll see the next Blue Beetle issue. You had a recent CGC sale, 5.0 from September 2019 for $190. Now, what's interesting is that only 8 of these issues on the census at all. So it seems to be a bit of a scarce, rare issue, not easy to find. And like, it's an okay cover, some action on there. I like it. They do a lot of Blue Beetle covers, certainly from the Hollyoak run, seem to be a lot of white. This one seems to have a bit of action going on. Maybe one of the better covers, but still not commanding the premium that the other ones would. All right, next up we have Captain America Comics number 35 from Timely. It's from February 1944. You got a Sid Shore cover. It's a great cover. I gotta say, I hadn't seen this cover before. Maybe it's a classic, maybe it's well sought after. I don't know. But if you look at the bottom in the middle, you can see that it looks like there's a couple of U.S. soldiers being tortured on there. So maybe it's a torture cover. Maybe that's why it's, I don't want to spoil it for you, but if you look at the bottom of the slide, you'll see that this is the big book of the week. This is it. So there's 4 stories in this that were worth reading. You have Captain America and Bucky take on a gentleman turned Nazi named the Gargoyle, who's trying to steal plans for an invention. So this guy was a gentleman, seemed he got bored, wanted to do other things, wanted to be called the Gargoyle. He wore a mask and no one's able to see his face. And he did rip off his mask, and turns out he was a little gruesome. And he decided that the Nazis had the right idea, so he wanted to steal some plans for an invention and help out the Nazis. Why not? Human Torch and Toro track down some escaped Nazi prisoners freed by a Nazi posing as a hermit. Captain America and Bucky tangle with a giant Mayan robot idol when a Nazi poses as a Mayan high priest to encourage the Mayans to go to war with the U.S. Those Nazis sure are clever. A lot of schemes. Captain America and Bucky attempt to rescue an engraver and his daughter from Nazis who wanted to flood the economy with extra currency. So if you flood the economy with extra currency, you devalue the currency. It's not worth anything. U.S. economy goes down the toilet. That would have been the plan, but Captain America and Bucky stepped in to put a stop to that. Now, again, I did say this was the big book of the week. So you got 3 Captain America stories. Bucky's in there. You got Human Torch, Toro, Sid Shore cover with maybe it's a classic cover, not sure. Seems to be well sought after. Torture on there. You have a recent CGC 9.0 sale from September of 2020 for $5,540, which I feel is a fair sum considering this isn't really a key by any means. After that, we have Captain Marvel Adventures number 32. That's from Fawcett. That's February 1944. There's 4 Captain Marvel stories in this one. Captain Marvel is the only one who heeds the warning of Dr. Foozle about the Mole Man's plan to steal all of the buildings in Dallas. They're going to steal them by pulling them all underground. Crazy, crazy story. Captain Marvel finds that a rival radio station has been set up by the Axis to spread rumors and undermine confidence in the army. After that, Captain Marvel must protect a glassblower who is working on an invention for the government from Nazi spies. And then from our serial, we have Captain Marvel destroys the munitions plant on planet Punkus, but not before Mr. Mind fires off a mile-long cannon shell from Great Big Bertha, aimed at Earth. Great Big Bertha is a huge cannon, fires off mile-long shells. You can imagine that's going to do a lot of damage if they can get that fired and delivered to the Earth. This was chapter number 11 of 25 chapters of the serial in that series where Mr. Mind and Captain Marvel are facing off. Again, I say it probably every time. I really wish they would have made less chapters and just filled up a few issues instead of having 4 Captain Marvel stories, and I got to keep following the story each month. What a pain! And it's really just not enough pages to It's like a Sunday comic strip kind of thing. Like, but you have the whole issue. Just look. End of rant. You have recent CGC 7.0 sale from June 2020 for $260. Following that up, you have Captain Marvel Jr. Number 16. This is from Fawcett, February 1944. Here again, you have 4 more stories. Captain Marvel Jr. helps out on a fishing boat and discovers a Japanese spy named Pogo poisoning the fish in the ocean in an effort to contaminate the American food supply. So they poison the fish, people eat the fish and die because the fish were poisoned. However, the poison doesn't seem to actually affect the fish. Why not? Like I said, maybe it's like the mercury thing, which we're dealing with these days. Captain Marvel Jr. plays in a charity golf tournament to keep some crooked players from winning and then trying to steal the proceeds. Charity golf. What will the crooks think of next? How low can you go? Captain Marvel Jr. chases an escaped convict into a theater, and they end up as part of the stage act. So there's a lot of acts going on in this theater. Captain Marvel and the crook, they go back and forth, or the convict, the escaped convict, end up in these acts and juggling and a bunch of human pyramid stuff. And there was a clown telling jokes, all sorts of fun stuff. Captain Marvel Jr. and Captain Marvel are helpless to stop Dr. Savannah and Dr. Hex after they put a spell on them. Or are they helpless after all? A recent CGC 9.0 sale from July of 2018 for $539. So that's, about 2.5 years ago from this recording. It seems like this issue might go for more now. I mean, you've got 4 Captain Marvel Jr. stories. Dr. Savannah's in there, great villain, recurring. I don't know, I'd say this going for more now. What do I know? Following that up, we have Detective Comics number 84, DC, February 1944. Batman and Robin on the cover there. Bad guy shooting dummies. So what happens is Batman and Robin chase some robbers to an estate posing as a gentleman's club that is in actuality a front to train crooks and serve as an employment agency for them. It's quite the setup they have there. Pretty neat. Why not? And then the Crimson Avenger and Wing end up exposing gangsters for their real crimes when they try to pull a publicity stunt. Never try to pull a publicity stunt when you've got crimes that you're trying to hide, I would say. You have a recent CGC 9.2 sale from November of 2020 for $2,520. So fair sum. It's a good book. People like it. Last up, we have Flash Comics number 50 from February 1944. It's an okay cover. I like it. Why not? Flash keeps an eye on a meek man that is having a lucky day after he mistakenly withdraws $1,000 from the bank instead of $1, and he barely stays out of trouble after having such a streak of good luck. Johnny Thunder chases down Peachy Pet, his little ward adopted daughter, after she takes his camera and takes photos of Nazi fortification. Now they are in Nazi-controlled Europe. You're not supposed to take photos. It's a no-no. So Nazis are trying to track her down. Johnny Thunder is also trying to track her down first, get away from them, and make sure no harm comes to her. Hawkman is framed by gangsters and it looks as though he's running a protection racket. So they framed him to make it look like he's running protection. Oh, look, he's not. He's just good old Hawkman. Yeah, recent CGC 7.0 sale from December of 2020 for $950. So that will do it. That's the end of our show. I got to say from this issue, Hawkman, I got to say, I'm not feeling it. I haven't really felt anything exciting about the Hawkman story since I've read about them in Johnny Thunder. I thought it could be good. He's kind of slapsticky, sure, but it seems to be falling short, just rehashing a lot of stuff. Flash story is good. I like that one, to be fair. But a lot of the backup stories not as good. Okay, well, that does it for our show. That's 10 more issues. I have to say, no real keys in the bunch. There was the big book of the week, of course. You're talking about Golden Age, really Golden Age these days, if there's any major appearances. those can drive up the price fairly easily if you're speculating, if you're a collector. But a lot of these books on that we're reading this week, you probably get some low grade issues for not, and it won't break the bank. So if you've watched this far, thank you very much. If you could like and subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell everyone. Come see what I've got going on. If you have any comments you want to share, go ahead. I'll check them out, read them, reply. Thanks. You take care.